So in this module, we're going to actually talk about the difference and how to put in fee schedules and coverage books. So as I mentioned before, there is a difference in between both. So the easiest way that I can explain this is that a fee schedule is based on you being in network with the insurance company. A coverage book, on the other hand, is when you're not in network with the company, but you want to keep track of what they normally pay on procedures so that you have the ability to go ahead and know what they pay so that you can give a pretty good estimate to your patients based on previous payments. So that makes things really, really, really easy. So one of the things that I mentioned before that I'm a huge advocate for is that the deal is always this. If you collect what the patient portion is at the end of the appointment, and then as a courtesy to the patient, you guys still do insurance claims, and you filed the claim, and so what would happen is that in 7 to 10 days, if you were doing the claim electronically, you should receive a check from the insurance company which would pay off the difference. Okay? It is easier for you to write a refund check to the patient than it is for the patient to write you a check. The best time to get paid is when the patient is directly in front of you, and in a really, really nice way. You don't give them an option to leave. Mr. Smith, your portion today, minus the insurance, is going to be $42. How would you like to take care of that? Okay, so in that case, then they go, well, can I pay you when the insurance pays? If there is a discrepancy, we will write you a refund check. But according to our calculations, $42 is going to be the portion that the insurance is not going to pay, which is your portion right now. I know that sounds harsh, but I have been to offices that are owed $100, $200, $300, $500,000 because patients walked out and they're not being paid on. Get it up front. Catch it when you first did the work that day. You're wasting way too much time and way too much money sending out statements to be paid for something that was done already. Okay? So enough of that bandwagon. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at my fee schedule list. So again, at the end of the year or before the end of the year, if you work out a deal with Blue Cross Blue Shield, you can come in here and you can update all of your fees to what you've negotiated with Blue Cross Blue Shield, meaning you are in network. Okay? Also, same thing goes with all of them. Now, if you've only negotiated on a couple of procedure codes, then you can actually also go to the procedure code list. But I would suggest you just come here and do the fee schedule. Okay? So now to explain the coverage book option. So as you can see here, let's say that I'm going to go to Anytown Airlines. Okay? So the coverage book here basically explains that our UCR is $27 , and we're going to write off, quote, 23. That's a big deal right there. I don't like that. So what normally happens in this situation, okay, is that you are not going to use a write-off option. Let me see if I can find something here that doesn't have a write-off option. All right. So here it is, okay? So for example, for this corporation, their periodic oral evaluation, our UCR is $25, and then we're going to cover that 100%, meaning, okay? So most of the time, like I said before, the only time you would create a coverage book is when you're putting amounts in so that you know what the insurance company normally pays on that procedure based on the patient's employer, right? Remember that. So in Eaglesoft, all the breakdowns are attached to the employer. So this way here, I could give a pretty good idea to the patient about how much the insurance would typically pay, and so in turn you collect enough money up front. Now, I have done this in a couple of offices, and I guess it would be left up to you. But let's say, for example, that you know, for just by example, that they're going to pay $25 on a procedure, okay? What ends up happening is sometimes that's changed, okay? So what I normally do is I change it by about 5%, so I collect 5% more from the patient and not expecting from the insurance company. So that kind of offsets if they don't pay what they paid before, or things changed or something of that sort. Obviously, the best case scenario would be a fee-for-service office. You would collect everything up front as a courtesy to the patient. You are going to file their insurance for them, and the check is going to go back to them within 7 to 10 days. But I can tell you there's not a lot of offices that do that, and that's a shame. You can't go anywhere else and get work done and not have to pay for anything. I can't go to Walmart and buy groceries and let them, you know, hey, I think I've got insurance for that. They wouldn't even let me walk out the door. That's considered theft. So with that in mind, if you understand the difference now in between fee schedule and coverage book, again, let me repeat, fee schedule is for in-network, coverage book is for out-of-network insurances. All right? So again, this concludes the fee schedule and coverage book section of the program.